Hi, I am T.R. Edwards. I am principal at River Valley High School in Bidwell, Ohio, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon for another segment of Voice of the Valley. Today we have, first of all, before we start out today, I'd like to again thank Dr. Michelle Johnston and the staff here at the studio at the University of Rio Grande. They are very good and accommodate us so that we can feature our students and what's going on in our schools. So big shout out to them and thank you. Also to our district superintendent, Mr. Jude Myers. He is developing relationships, and he also has his own show. So again, thank you for opening up those pathways and that we can share more with you. So today I have with me two different groups. I have students from the National Beta Club, and with me I have Ethan Browning and Ian Eblin. And I'll let Ethan start out by telling a little bit about himself and what brings him here as part of the National Beta Club.
Sure. So as TR said, I'm Ethan Browning, and I'm the newly elected Vice President of Ohio Beta. National Beta Club is sort of this like national youth organization, this service organization, and they do different like service projects, and there's different like competitions. Each state has state conventions, and there's competitions in academics and music and art and things like that.
Okay, so we're just coming off of state convention. So Ethan, tell us a little bit about why someone would want to go to state convention.
Yeah, so Beta's really like magical, and like just Beta conventions in general are like always a really awesome time. And I mean, yeah, it's a great chance to like meet new people, and that's sort of what I got from it this year. But in years past, it sort of helped me to get out of my comfort zone whenever I was struggling with like making new friends or things like that at school. And Beta also, just the experience that you get from going there and competing, and you can learn so many new things. It's just a great opportunity for all those things.
So you said that your experience this year was a little different than other years. So what was different about this year?
Well, this year, as I said, I was running for a state office, so I sort of had to go even further out of my comfort zone to meet new people and make those connections and do things like that.
Okay. And did you win an office?
Yeah, I won state vice president.
All right. So what comes with that? Whenever you're state vice president, do you have an opportunity to go to nationals and compete at the national level?
Yeah, I actually do this summer. In June, we'll be going down to Savannah, Georgia, and I will be running for national vice president of Beta Club.
All right, great. So we have national convention coming up in Savannah, Georgia. So Ian, tell us a little bit about you and what your involvement with National Beta Club is.
Yeah, sure. So last summer, I believe we went to this leadership summit with our school and about 7 other students. We went to a leadership summit in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and it's not exactly like a Beta convention. It's way more focused on like the leadership attribute. So there's the 4 pillars of Beta: leadership, service, achievement, and character. And the leadership summits focus solely on leadership, as you could probably guess. And what we do there, we do a bunch of challenges and stuff. And so one of those was the Think Outside the Box and the Rapid Response Challenge. And so there's competitions like that, and you can go and take in the nationals. But kind of like how Ethan's the vice president, they also were electing positions, or not electing, they were selecting positions there to be regional leadership representatives. So from each leadership summit, they'll take 3 people and they'll interview them, and they'll put them through a little like on-the-fly challenge kind of thing, and they'll pick out who they want to be their leadership representatives. And I was awarded with that at the Pigeon Forge Summit, and I will get to compete for a national leadership representative spot this June in Savannah.
So you guys are talking a lot about the competitions for position, but also at the state convention, I know that there's a lot of competitions beyond just for positions. You know, there's competitions that go into academics and music and quiz bowl and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you saw at state convention, Ian?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, I believe it was also our group talent got first, and our quiz bowl also got first, which I thought was exciting. And I know the quiz bowl kids were excited about it because at national convention we already had the schedule, and they were all able to make it. So even with all these positions and running for offices and trying to get elected or selected and interviewed and all this goodness, there's also competitions, and there's academics and there's music. So our group talent got first. We did a little performance, and we had shadow dramas, where we would tell a story with shadows and we would use music to back it, and we had a few vocalists. And we placed really well, really high in academics. And everyone that places gets to go compete at nationals. So they can go take a national beta math test or a Spanish test, or compete at the national level for group talent. So there's really something for everyone, which is really cool about it.
Yeah, great. Ethan, Ian had mentioned a little bit about this group talent, and you were going to tell us a little more about group talent because it had a message and a theme this year.
Yeah, so our school's show choir that competed at Beta Group Talent this year, they chose to do the song.
It was a suicide hotline.
Yeah,
1-800.
1-800, and it was about the that song by Logic of the suicide hotline. So that song really was about a lot of things that had transpired, like sort of in our local schools and our community and things recently. So that had a really impactful message, I think.
It's really
Right.
everywhere.
So not only was the Beta Club that were they trying to win this contest with large group vocal, but also they were wanting to really come across with a theme with it. And I know that there's been a lot of work done in our community, in our schools, and our community about suicide prevention and awareness and things like that. So it was great that the National Beta Club, River Valley's Beta Club, was able to kind of take hold of that and make an impact in our community.
Yeah, and all the local schools we had there too could relate, and it's really an issue for everyone everywhere. So I think it's a good message to spread.
Right. So Ian, you talked a little bit about this leadership summit. Were several people from your organization? Did they go or?
Yeah, sure. So it was about eight kids from our school, and we were the only school, the only Beta chapter from Ohio to even go.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was really neat, but. There were, how many kids overall were there?
At the summit?
At the summit. There wasn't as many as convention.
It wasn't nearly as many as convention. I think there was like a few hundred.
A few hundred maybe, yeah.
200 or 300.
Yeah, but everyone just went there and had a good time. We listened to some motivational speeches, which was really cool, and we did some activities. And one of the things they focused on there was you couldn't be a partner with someone that you knew. So they made you get out of your comfort zone, kind of how you said just Beta will do that to you.
Yeah.
They forced it on you, and you would have to meet new people and make conversation and learn and develop skills and work through things together with them. So it was just a really great experience.
Right. So, and you mentioned earlier about there's 4 pillars of Beta, and it sounds like they're really driving home the service and those leadership aspects, particularly at that summit. So, can you, I guess it's just in wrapping up for this year overall, would you share care to share some of the activities that the River Valley High School Beta Club has done this year?
Yeah, so we've had a few different service projects this year, one of which was like sort of a snack pack program that our high school put together for local kids and families in the middle school and the elementary schools, and our Beta Club was responsible mostly for packing that and making sure that was taken care of.
Crunching the numbers, all that. And another state, the state Beta service project was a sock project. So we were just bringing in clean socks and clean whatever, like small things like that people could need, that they might need. And you want me to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. And one thing that our school, our own club, did this fall actually was Hurricane Harvey. We brought in any kind of cleaning supplies that we could: mops, bleach, Dawn. Really any cleaning supplies or anything that someone might need, even if that's just bottled water or if it's a broom, anything like that. We would bring it in and help, and you get hours for that, but it's also just nice to get it all together and ship it out. It feels good.
Yeah.
And one of the things I know, you can't just go to a state convention or just go to a national convention just because you want to go. You have to complete certain things to get up to that point. Do you guys remember how many service hours you had to have before you went on the convention?
Yeah, the requirement for our service hours to go to state convention was 50, and that was sort of their membership requirement too. So.
Okay, so that's quite a few hours that you have to put in community service hours, and I know that there's tons of opportunities for students to get those in, and I'm sure that you two are well over your 50 hours for this year. But so that sounds like some great things have been happening in the National Beta Club, the River Valley Beta Club chapter, and we're anxious to see what's going on next year.
Certainly.
So,
exciting.
Great. Next up, we will move on and feature another organization at River Valley High School, and they're they're going to share some of the things that they've done this year. They just recently came back from their state convention, and they're going to share some of the pieces that that they came back with, and also they had some record-breaking opportunities this year. As we go through, end of the year wrap up, there's several things. Last Monday, we had our annual Academic Festival and Arts Gala. That was a great event. That's a partnership with Bossard Library as well as the French Art Colony. Academic projects are displayed at the Bossard Library, which comes from all the different schools. In addition to that, one evening we have our Arts Gala, and with that we feature art from the visual art, the vocal art, instrumental art of our students from kindergarten all the way up through high school. So that was a great opportunity. Also, we're in kind of the crunch time of the year with state assessment, state conventions. We're wrapping up things, getting ready for graduation coming up. Just want to invite everyone out. If you have the opportunity, our graduation is May 25th at 7 p.m. It'd be a great way to send off our seniors. Prior to that, tradition that we started last year was we have an elementary walkthrough where we allow the students to go back to the elementaries where they grew up and walk through the halls one last time before they walk across the stage on that Friday night. So good luck to all of our students, and again, good luck to our seniors as they're wrapping up their senior year, and we thank them for all the work that they've done. Next up, we have members of the River Valley High School FFA. And with us today, we have Destiny Dotson and Josie Jones and Skylar Jones. So I'd like to welcome them here to Voice of the Valley. And like I said earlier, they're here with us today because they just came back from state convention. And there's a lot of things going on with state convention, but one of those things is state degrees. So let's start off a little bit about leading up to state convention. So Skylar, Destiny, and Josie, can you first of all tell us who you are, what grade you're in, and a little bit about yourself? Destiny?
Well, my name is Destiny Dotson. I've been in FFA for 3 years now, and I'm the secretary-elect, and I'm a junior.
My name's Josie Jones, and I'm a junior, and in the FFA this year, I'm the student advisor, and I'm next year's vice president.
Hi, my name is Skylar Jones. I'm a junior. I'm this year's reporter.
So I guess leading up to convention, can you guys share a little bit about, there's a lot of prep work that goes into getting ready for convention. Do you care to share a little bit about what that's like?
First, you got to have units. Units you have to go through, but you also have to have your official dress, which consists of the official FFA jacket, which all members are required to have if you are planning on going to any convention. Our officers do scrapbooks, like where I'm the reporter, I have to do my scrapbook for it. You can get a gold rating on it if you make all the requirements. What else?
One of the things you mentioned there was units. So can you talk a little bit more about units, or one of you care to talk about the units and what you mean by having a certain number of units to go to convention?
I can talk about units.
Okay.
The more units you have, the less money you pay. So say you have 100 units, you only have to pay $25, but if you have about 20 units, you have to pay more higher, so you have to pay about $275.
To go to convention.
You want
to go to convention. So the more units you have, the less you have to pay. And every activity we have, you get units for. Like state level, you get 99 units. District and chapter levels, you get 25 units, and any other little activities, you get 3 or 4 units, just depending on what you do.
So whenever you say like district level, those are district level what?
Like job interview contests, Harley Pro, county soils, anything like that.
Okay, all right. So it's kind of like we talked about with National Beta Club, you have to accumulate so many hours. With FFA, you have to accumulate so many units as you go along as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Josie, I know that you had a kind of a different experience this year with state convention. What were you involved with state convention?
Yeah, Kaylee Schultz and I were in the FFA state choir. This was our second year, both of us doing that. So basically, there's an application process. You have to apply to be accepted, and if you're accepted, then the morning of convention on Friday, you go up and you practice with other kids from all over the state of Ohio to sing. So they give you, we got 15 new songs that we hadn't seen before, and we practiced to learn them, and then we performed them at our big the big convention that they have. So it was a session. So that was our last session that we performed at, and we performed in front of 8,000 people. So it was definitely a really cool experience getting to do that 2 years in a row. So.
That's pretty exciting. And I know whenever Mr. Huck and Mr. Holcomb, which are the two advisors of the River Valley FFA, whenever they came back, they talked about this year how it was the largest crowd that they had this year at conventions. So it sounds like a lot of great things are happening across the state, and particularly with the River Valley High School FFA. So at FFA, I said Mr. Huck came back and he said, you know, this was a record-breaking year. So what made this year record-breaking for the River Valley High School FFA?
We had 8 state degrees.
Wow, 8 state degrees. So what does that mean to receive your state degree?
To receive your state degree, you have to have over $2,500 in profit. You have to have $5,000 in like making if you have to. Like either you work on a farm, like Destiny breeds dogs, I show pigs around the state, I make money from that. What else do you have to have? Oh, you have to have 25 hours of community service.
You gotta be a junior or senior,
Yeah,
and you gotta
junior or
have good
senior.
attendance and grades.
And I know as a
things.
building principal, that application is pretty lengthy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's small.
And I know going through that, you know, I have to sign off on those as well as the guidance counselor. And there's a lot of verification through that process. And I know there's a lot of going back and checking and correcting and making sure you have that. But it's pretty significant to have 8 of our members come back with their state degree, which is really awesome. You guys should be proud of that. So let's start here with Destiny. Destiny, how did you receive your state degree? What activities did you complete?
Well, I was in activities like the truck and tractor pull. I was in job interview, animal management, and all kinds of stuff like that. I had 30 hours of community service. I have good grades and good attendance. And I did an SAE, which is a supervised agricultural experience. And that was dog breeding for me. So I earned over $5,000 in profit and invested about $2,000.
Wow. So Josie, how does your experience compare to Destiny's?
Destiny and I have been involved in kind of different activities. I haven't really done a lot of the same things she has, but a big thing for me has been parliamentary procedure. And anyone who's familiar with the FFA will instantly remember all of the work you have to put in to get through that competition. It's definitely a lot of work, but I really enjoyed it. I started parliamentary procedure my freshman year. I did the novice, and we made it to state as a team. So that's really helped me, just public speaking and in general. But that was part of your requirement for the state degree, is you have to have a state level competition. So I did that, and then my supervised agricultural experience, I took pigs to the fair for a couple of years, and I earned part of my money that way. And then the other part I earned what you call unpaid hours. So everything that I did on my family farm, all of the work that I put in would be considered unpaid hours. So I had to log in every single hour I spent working on the farm, pretty much. And then once it totaled up, once I got all of my hours put in, then that's how I earned my state degree. So just making all of those entries is more of just sitting down and putting it all down.
So then, and Skylar, you had even a different route to your state degree, is that correct?
Yes, well, this year I raised pigs, but I didn't get it from that. I show pigs around the state of Ohio. So basically, I go to a show, you register in, and then if you win or you do well in a class, you registered into it there, which I recommend if anyone's going to go for their state degree or even national American degree, start as soon as you can. Don't wait till the last minute, because there'd be nights where we were up super late trying to log these in, and plus half the time we didn't know what we were doing, and Huck was like, oh, I gotta fix it. So it's definitely a long process. It's a long process.
Yeah, it does sound like it's a very extensive process. So you keep talking about logging these things. So how do you keep up with the hours that you've put in, and how do you log these events?
There's a website called AET, and it's basically like an organizer. They used to just have paper and pencil books where you had to log everything in. But now it's a lot easier because it'll actually show you what you need, what you have wrong, and after you get it all done, you can print all the paperwork off, and you can like highlight it for like the officers, be like, okay, well you need this, this, and this. So after that, it's so much easier to have it online. Plus, you can do it anywhere.
Right. So all 3 of you, so you are 3 of the 8. Who are the other 5 individuals who received their state degrees?
Jenna Burke, Caleb McKnight, then Destiny, Josie, me,
Ashley
McGuire, and then who else?
Kaylee Schultz.
Yeah, Kaylee. How did we get Kaylee?
So all 8 of you have completed that whole process. So just what inspired you 3 to do your state degree, or why did you choose to do your state degree?
People get their state degrees for a lot of different reasons. I think for me, it was just when I was a freshman and I went into the FFA, I looked up and I saw the upperclassmen, and I've always seen them walk across the stage and get their state degree, and I just thought that would be so cool, like such an honor to have that. Just for me personally, I know a lot of people who are going into an agricultural field that looks really good for applying to those colleges like Vo-Tech and everything like that, or ag-related jobs, so that looks really good. And then some people use that as a step to get their American degree. Okay. But it really just depends on the person to reach what level they want to reach.
How far they want to go. So you mentioned American degree. So you talked about all the work that went into the state degree. So is an American degree next on the radar for you 3?
Yes. The American degree is basically double, almost triple everything you have in the state degree. It is way more intense, and you cannot get it in high school. You have to be out 12 months of your high school, and you have to be either in college or coming back to your high school to help out with it.
Okay. All right. So even more work ahead of you, you 3 young ladies, and your future, evidently, right? Okay. So as we close out today, I want to talk about a few upcoming upcoming things for the River Valley High School FFA. First of all, there's a big event this Saturday that's coming up. So what's happening this Saturday, and what all is going to be going on?
So our FFA banquet is this Saturday. We have it annually, so every year, and it's always a big deal for us. We put a lot of work into it. And basically, we just have this banquet to recognize everyone that's helped out with our chapter and awards. We offer up special awards. We have special speakers. So this year we're having the alumni president, the FFA alumni president, Stanley Bowman, is going to speak. And then something new this year we haven't done for a while, I guess, we're having the state vice president at large, Philip Eberly. He's going to come down to our banquet and speak for us as well. So that's something really cool. We're really excited about this year.
And having attended the banquets in the past, there's a lot of activities that go on. And I know that the River Valley High School FFA, they have great support from the FFA alumni. I know that they give out each year several scholarships to outgoing seniors, and we appreciate all the support that the FFA alumni gives to our students, both that night and throughout the whole year. Also, you have another upcoming event this summer in early June. So what's that, Skylar?
It's the alumni tractor pool, which I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Everyone is in the newspapers each year.
Or you can just stand out and listen and hear it.
Yeah, it's really loud. It's June 1st, and I hope to see everyone there. It's a great event. Like, we have t-shirts so you can buy. There's all kinds of people there that I'm sure you'll know. I'm sure you'll have someone in the pools with you. So.
And that's a fundraiser for the FFA alumni.
It's one of the biggest ones, yeah.
Right. And they have a lot of success. And again, their contributions from that, they put it right back into the organization, the club, and the members of the club. So we really appreciate everything that they do there. So in closing, I guess you want to talk a little bit about your personal experiences, what going into FFA, and what your future plans are.
You want to start since you're on the air?
Okay, well, I started in FFA my freshman year, and as soon as I started, I fell in love with the club. I've been in various competitions, job interview. My freshman year, I placed second, and I've been in it for 2 years after that. This is our first year doing animal management. I put a team together. We didn't do as good as we thought, but we're coming back next year for the title.
You guys got this.
And my future plans are I want to be something in the dairy or a veterinarian. So something like that, and I want to go to Ohio State University.
Okay, so for me, Parley Pro has been like a really big thing that I've been involved in. I got involved with the FFA my freshman year, and I really liked it ever since. So freshman year, I wasn't as involved as I would have liked to be. So, and then sophomore year, I kind of hung back a little bit too with the FFA. But I would say that this year has been really big for me, stepping out, being an officer for the first time. It's been really good for me just as a person to grow and get new experiences, and I've really enjoyed getting to know everyone better on the team. Parley Pro's really taught me how to think on my feet a lot, and it's helped me with public speaking, and that's something that I'll always use later on in life. I don't really have any future like agricultural plans, but I'm sure I hope to be around it more. I'm wanting to be a speech pathologist. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to college yet, but that's the direction I'm headed with that. So,
With me, I've done public speaking and livestock judging, which public speaking is really needed in FFA. Plus, if you're an officer, you're speaking in front of huge crowds constantly, and plus you gotta correct the freshmen sometimes when they're not where they're supposed to be. But livestock judging, it's not as big as we need it to be, but I try my best to get as many members as possible, which we keep increasing. We're doing better with it, so I'm happy about that.
Right, and with the number of competitions that the River Valley High School FFA is involved in, I know all the time you guys are either competing or preparing for the next competition, so you're very involved. So once again, want to thank everyone for joining us here today as we feature two of our largest organizations at River Valley High School, the National Beta Club and the River Valley High School FFA. Want to thank everyone for joining us again on Voice of the Valley.